Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I am Anime Octopus, and I'm excited to have you here for another thrilling fanfiction adventure. Today, we continue one of our most intense alternate universe stories. What if the DWMA betrayed Naruko Uzumaki? Part 3. As the consequences of betrayal continue to unfold, new challenges, unexpected alliances, and powerful revelations await Naruko on her journey. Will she rise above the pain of betrayal, or will the darkness of the past shape her future? Let's find out together. Disclaimer: the content on this channel is created for entertainment and discussion purposes only. I do not own any anime footage, images, music, or other copyrighted material that may appear in my videos. All rights and credit belong to their respective creators, studios, and copyright holders. This video is intended under fair use principles for commentary, storytelling, and fan-based content. Now, without further delay, sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. Let's begin. Morioni bowed respectfully to Medusa and Krona. It is an honor to meet the fiancé of Naruko-sama. I am at your service, Medusa-sama and Krona-sama, Morioni said politely. Krona smiled brightly, a faint pink blush coloring her cheeks. Thank you for helping my mom and me bring back my papa, Krona said warmly. Morioni met the pink-haired girl's blue eyes with a kind smile. It is my pleasure, Krona-sama. As the head maid of the Uzumaki clan, it is my duty to help Naruko-sama and her family. Krona blinked in surprise. Wait, you're an actual maid? She asked. Morioni nodded. Yes, I am. Within the Uzumaki clan, becoming a maid or butler is a choice, but it also requires dedication and training. Krona looked even more amazed. Medusa's expression softened into a genuine smile. I have heard a great deal about you, Morioni. My Naruko-chan often spoke of your loyalty to her and Ashina-sama. Morioni inclined her head gratefully. Nearby, Akawane turned toward Medusa. The redhead studied her carefully while Medusa calmly returned her gaze. After a moment, Akawane smiled. You are a very intelligent woman. You understood exactly what I was doing. Medusa returned the smile. Thank you, Akawane. With your help and Morioni's, I believe Naruko-chan can be restored. Krona looked between them in confusion. Mom, what just happened? She asked. Medusa chuckled softly. Oh, nothing serious. Akawane was simply getting to know me. Naruko-chan once told me that Akawane values courage, honesty, and confidence. She respects people who remain calm and true to themselves. But why? Krona asked. Akawane answered kindly. My mother believed that strong people should face challenges with determination. It is truly an honor to work alongside you, Krona-sama. She gave a respectful bow. At that moment, Ragnarok appeared beside Krona and looked curiously at Ashina. Who's that? He asked. Ashina smiled gently. Ragnarok, you already know who I am. Ragnarok thought for a moment before grinning. Oh, right. Krona shook her head with amusement. Ashina laughed warmly. It is good to see everyone getting along. Ragnarok crossed his arms thoughtfully. So, when are we starting this new mission? Medusa smiled. For now, Krona and you will be helping with a different task. Ragnarok blinked in surprise. Really? Why? I need a variety of talents for what lies ahead, Medusa explained. You and Krona have important roles to play, and I want to make sure everyone is prepared. Krona raised an eyebrow. What kind of task? Medusa gave her daughter a playful smile. You'll find out soon enough. Krona sighed dramatically. You always say that, Mom. Medusa laughed. Sometimes a little mystery makes things more exciting. As everyone continued talking, Medusa quietly thought about the future. Soon, She hoped to gather many talented allies who cared about Naruko and wished to help her. With friends working together and the support of the Uzumaki clan, she believed there was hope for restoring the person she cherished most. Akawane noticed the determination in Medusa's eyes and glanced at Krona. "Why is she smiling like that?" Akawane asked quietly. Krona smiled knowingly. "She's thinking about Naruko. Whenever she does, she becomes very determined." Akawane nodded in understanding. Medusa gently held the engagement ring Naruko had given her long ago. It reminded her of the promise they shared and strengthened her resolve to keep believing in a brighter tomorrow. Surrounded by friends, family, and hope, the future felt a little closer than before. Flashback. The moment Lord Death drifted away from the lakeside gathering, his thoughts remained fixed on the young blonde girl hiding behind her family. Naruko Uzumaki. Even from a distance, her soul shone brighter than most experienced meisters. It wasn't merely powerful, it was warm, vibrant, and filled with endless potential. During his long existence, Lord Death had seen countless souls, yet very few had left such a strong impression. Several weeks later, a messenger arrived at Death City carrying a carefully sealed letter bearing the crest of the Uzumaki clan. Inside was a simple message. Ashina Uzumaki, leader of the clan, had granted permission for Naruko Uzumaki to attend the Death Weapon Meister Academy. Lord Death had been surprised. He had expected a refusal. Instead, the clan leader had written, "The world beyond our homeland is vast. If young Naruko wishes to learn and grow, she should be free to do so. We trust she will carry the spirit of the Uzumaki clan wherever she goes." And so, preparations began. Months later, Death City buzzed with excitement. Students hurried between buildings. Teachers prepared lessons. Weapons and meisters trained together throughout the academy grounds. At the front gate stood a small group waiting for a new arrival. Lord Death floated cheerfully above them. Beside him stood Spirit Albert. "So this is the student you've been talking about?" Spirit asked. "Indeed." Lord Death replied. A large carriage rolled through the gates. The door opened. Out stepped a young blonde girl wearing a simple orange jacket and dark pants. Her bright blue eyes sparkled with curiosity. The first thing she did was stare at the giant skull-shaped academy. Her mouth slowly dropped open. "Wow!" She spun in circles. "It's huge." Spirit blinked. Then he laughed. "She's certainly energetic." Naruko immediately ran over to Lord Death. "Are you really Lord Death?" "I am." "You're taller than I expected." Spirit nearly choked. Nobody casually said things like that to Lord Death. To his surprise, Lord Death simply laughed. "And you're shorter than I expected." Naruko placed her hands on her hips. "Hey." The two continued joking while everyone else watched. Within minutes, the nervousness Naruko had felt during the long journey vanished. Life at the academy quickly became an adventure. Naruko threw herself into every lesson. She studied soul perception. She practiced teamwork. She learned academy history. Sometimes she succeeded. Sometimes she made mistakes. A lot of mistakes. One afternoon she accidentally got lost inside the academy and somehow wandered into 3 different classrooms before finding her own. Another time she mistook a storage closet for a training room. The story spread throughout the school. For weeks afterward, students would jokingly ask if she needed a map. Naruko always laughed along with them. "If I get lost enough times," she would say confidently, "eventually I'll know where everything is." No one could argue with that logic. What truly made Naruko special wasn't her powerful soul. It was her kindness. Whenever she noticed someone sitting alone, she would introduce herself. When younger students struggled with lessons, she offered to help. When someone felt discouraged, she always had encouraging words ready. Slowly, more and more students became her friends. Even teachers found themselves smiling around her. She possessed a rare ability to brighten a room simply by entering it. One evening, Lord Death stood in his office overlooking Death City. Spirit entered carrying a stack of reports. "Still thinking about Naruko?" Spirit asked. Lord Death nodded. "She has grown quickly." "She has." Spirit placed the reports on a nearby desk. "Honestly, she's changed the atmosphere around here." Lord Death tilted his head. "Oh?" Spirit smiled. "Students are working harder. They're helping each other more." He folded his arms. "Naruko has this way of making people want to be better." For several moments, silence filled the room. Then Lord Death looked out toward the academy grounds. Far below, Naruko could be seen laughing with a group of friends. The sound couldn't reach them from that distance. Yet somehow, the happiness was obvious. Lord Death smiled. "A powerful soul is a wonderful thing." Spirit nodded. "But a good heart is even better." And as the lights of Death City twinkled beneath the evening sky, young Naruko Uzumaki continued her journey, making friends, learning new lessons, and bringing warmth wherever she went. None of them knew what the future would hold. But one thing was certain. The cheerful girl from the Uzumaki clan would leave a lasting mark on the DWMA, not through fear or power, but through friendship, determination, and kindness. Time skip, 4 days later. Death sat in his office, looking over a stack of papers. These were not ordinary papers. They contained information about the new students who would soon be attending the academy. Soon, a new school year will begin. Only 5 months remain, thought Death. A moment later, he noticed a visitor standing in his office. The newcomer was a member of the Uzumaki clan. The Uzumaki appeared to be around 40 years old. He had pale skin, burgundy red hair that reached his neck, and bright green eyes. He wore a golden headband, a black long-sleeved shirt with the Uzumaki whirlpool emblem on the left side, a blue vest trimmed with fur, dark blue pants, and black shoes. A fingerless glove covered his left hand. "You must be the messenger sent by the leader of the Uzumaki clan," said Death. The man bowed respectfully. "Yes. My name is Ko Uzumaki, and I serve as a messenger for the Uzumaki clan." "I expected your leader would take a little longer to respond," Death replied. "Ashina-sama believes important matters should never be delayed. He has agreed to allow Naruko-sama to attend your school." "That is wonderful news." Death handed him a letter. "This contains the date of orientation." Ko accepted the letter and carefully placed it inside his vest. "Thank you, Lord Death. Naruko-sama will be delighted." With another respectful bow, Ko departed, leaving Death alone with his thoughts. Time skip, several months later. Orientation day had finally arrived. Naruko wore a badge labeled Meister as she explored the academy grounds with sparkling blue eyes. She could hardly contain her excitement. She loved her clan and was proud to be an Uzumaki, but she had always dreamed of making friends from different places. Now that dream was finally coming true. As she wandered through the courtyard, she heard quiet sniffles nearby. Turning her head, Naruko spotted 3 girls standing together. They looked upset while another student was speaking to them in a very rude manner. Naruko frowned. No one should feel sad on orientation day. She hurried over. "Hey! Everyone should be having fun today," Naruko said firmly. The rude student crossed her arms. "And who are you supposed to be?" Naruko placed her hands on her hips and grinned. "I'm Naruko Uzumaki, and I'm going to be the greatest Meister ever." The student blinked in surprise. "Humph." Without another word, she turned around and walked away, deciding she had better things to do. Naruko smiled and turned toward the 3 girls. The first girl had short blue hair decorated with a large paper flower and bright amber eyes. The second was a younger brunette with a neat chin-length bob and brown eyes. Purple markings rested on her cheeks. The third girl had long blonde hair, blue eyes, and wore a beautiful dress decorated with ribbons and frills. The blonde girl's eyes widened. "Wait. You're really an Uzumaki?" Naruko nodded proudly. "Yep. That's me." The brunette tilted her head. "But I thought members of the Uzumaki clan all had red hair." "Most do," Naruko explained. "I inherited my blonde hair from my father." The blue-haired girl smiled warmly. "Thank you for helping us, Naruko." "It was no problem at all," Naruko replied. "I know my name, but what are yours?" The blue-haired girl bowed politely. "My name is Konan. It's nice to meet you." The blonde followed with a graceful bow. "I am Satellizer L. Bridget." The brunette gave a cheerful smile. "And I'm Run Nohara. Nice to meet you, Naruko." Naruko's grin grew wider. "Then it's decided." The three girls exchanged puzzled looks. "What's decided?" Konan asked. Naruko pointed dramatically at all three of them. "You three should become my partners." The girls stared at her. "We just met," Satellizer said. Konan nodded. "And most meisters only look for one partner at first." Run tilted her head. "Why us?" Naruko folded her arms thoughtfully before answering. "Because you all seem kind. And because I think we'd make great friends." The three girls blinked in surprise. Naruko continued. "I don't just want strong partners. I want people I can laugh with, learn with, and share adventures with." Konan smiled shyly. "That sounds nice." Run giggled. "I think it sounds fun." Satellizer hesitated before a small smile appeared on her face. "Well, I suppose getting to know each other wouldn't hurt." Naruko beamed. "Awesome." She eagerly led them toward Death's office. As they walked together, the girls chatted happily. Konan talked about wanting to make new friends. Run shared stories about her hobbies. Even Satellizer joined the conversation before long. Naruko listened to all of them with excitement. "This is going to be great," she said. "We're going to have so many wonderful adventures together." Eventually, they reached Death's office. "Knock. Knock. Come in," called Death. The four children entered and politely bowed. Death smiled. "Well, that was quick. It seems Naruko has already found some potential partners." Naruko stepped forward proudly. "Lord Death, I'd like to introduce my new friends." Death chuckled warmly. "I had a feeling you would make friends very quickly, Naruko." The blonde Uzumaki grinned from ear to ear while Konan, Run, and Satellizer smiled beside her. Orientation Day was already becoming a day none of them would ever forget. The Grim Reaper glanced over at the three weapons. "Do the three of you want Naruko as your meister?" asked Death. The three young women nodded. Death smiled warmly before turning back to the blonde Uzumaki. "Now, I must warn you. Since you wish to partner with three weapons, you will have to work 3 times as hard as most meisters. You will also need to help Konan, Rin, and Satellizer grow stronger so they can reach their full potential. Knowing this, do you still wish for these girls to be your weapons?" asked Death. Naruko grinned and confidently placed one fist into her palm. "TSK. I'm an Uzumaki. A challenge like that is nothing. Besides, Uzumaki never like having things handed to them. We earn our strength through hard work," declared Naruko. Konan, Rin, and Satellizer exchanged happy smiles. Death nodded proudly. "Then congratulations on finding your partners, Naruko. I know you'll accomplish wonderful things together." Naruko tilted her head before giving Death a bright smile. "You bet. I won't let you down, or my name isn't Naruko Uzumaki Namikaze, Databane," she exclaimed. Satellaizer raised an eyebrow. Naruko, I've been wondering. What does databane mean? She asked. Naruko laughed. It means believe it. Flashback end. Spirit looked toward Death. Lord Death, did you ever imagine that Naruko Uzumaki would become someone so different from the cheerful child she once was? He asked. Death shook his head slowly. No. If I had known how much she would change, I would have tried harder to guide her onto a brighter path. Spirit nodded thoughtfully. It's still hard to believe. She used to be such a cheerful and hopeful child. I suppose you're right, Spirit, Death replied. But even the kindest people can change as life takes them on unexpected journeys. The two continued down the hallway until they reached a large room. In the center sat Naruko Uzumaki. Though many years had passed, she looked almost unchanged. Her bright blue eyes had become quiet and distant, her golden hair had faded to a pale platinum shade, and her expression seemed lost in thought. Spirit glanced at Death. Do you think she can hear us? He asked softly. Death gave a small shrug. It is difficult to know. Perhaps she understands more than we realize. Time skip, the next night. Location, witch jail. A witch guard sat quietly in her chair, peacefully asleep after a long day. Looks like she's fast asleep, whispered Iruka. A man with a magical eye lifted his head. Who's there? He asked. We know someone's nearby, said Zabuza. Iruka, currently in her frog form, hopped forward. Don't worry. I'm here because someone asked me to help you. I'll open the doors now. The doors clicked open one by one. Free was a tall man with a strong build and a magical eye that glowed with unusual power. Beside him stood Zabuza, broad-shouldered and imposing, and Haku, whose gentle features gave them an elegant appearance. Nearby stood Gaara, quiet and thoughtful. As the doors opened, Iruka felt slightly nervous beneath their serious gazes. Gaara was the first to speak. You're one of Naruko's followers, aren't you? He asked. Iruka scratched her cheek. Sort of. I work for her fiancé. Zabuza nodded. Fair enough. But I would like to have my belongings returned. Iruka smiled. We'll see what we can do. Free crossed his arms with a confident grin. Humph. I can manage perfectly well on my own. Despite his words, the others couldn't help but chuckle, and for the first time that evening, the room felt a little brighter. Dear YouTube family. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more content. Thank you for your support. Regards, Anime Octopus.